in support of our organization. I'll start over. First and foremost, Rabbi Lieberman, to thank you. Your belief in our organization, our work, and support is above and beyond anything we could have imagined. So I'm dumbfounded, honestly, to tell you the truth. It's it's humbling and just really thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you, Rabbi Weiss, Dr. Lieberman. Your words are so inspirational and so appropriate. What's going on Bisman Hazeh, this current juncture in the Jewish people's existence, everything. It's an exciting time. It's a scary time, but it's we're seeing history unfold before us. As Rabbi Lieberman had mentioned, that Keren Or is an infertility organization. We provide support to couples undergoing infertility. Beyond infertility, we're an organization of the Jewish people. We're an organization that is with members of the Jewish people who are suffering incredible emotional stress, distress, and it's really much more than just infertility. It's about understanding what our fellow Jew needs and being able to empathize and sympathize with them and to be there for them as much as possible. What I have to say can't do it justice, so I'm going to turn it over to Rabbi and Mrs. Falk to share their story and share more about what we're doing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So just before I introduce, I've got Hannah here as well. I don't know if you can see her. Hannah, my wife, is also on the call. Just before we're joining you from Beit Shemesh, as it's been mentioned, Beit Shemesh has had a very tough day. So we would obviously love to have been with you in person, but Bezrat Hashem, better times, we hope to be able to join you. So again, we're just going to share our story of how Keren Or came to be. We'll try and do it as quick and precise as we can. Okay, so we are a couple living in Beit Shemesh, originally English. We went through our own infertility journey. We were married 7 years before we had our daughter. And 3 years ago, we were married another 7 years and we had our son, who is now 3. So we're very grateful. Having gone through our own infertility journey, we were obviously connected to all these. Many of you may be familiar with organizations that help couples who are going through infertility, and obviously they were helping us as well. But there was a piece of the puzzle of a couple going through infertility that we felt was missing. That was when all the plans and hishtadlut had been done and treatments had been, everything had been planned according to what our plan was, or we thought it was. Unfortunately, when things didn't work out the way we had hoped them to work out, that left us just to share our personal story as a couple. After months and months of going through the grind, it left us just broken as a couple, but also as individuals. Hannah, we're going to share this. I'll give this over to Hannah, my wife, to.
Came a point. Sorry, just have to mute yourself. It came a point in the journey where we were told to do another round of treatment after a failure. I just felt that there was no ability to keep going. As Shmoni mentioned, the amazing organizations that are there to help with the many facets of infertility, be it medical or financial, were completely helped. We turned to them to ask them to help us. We were emotionally broken from failure after failure after failure. And we didn't have this emotional energy to go through it again, the physical energy to go through it again. We were just at a point where we just couldn't do it. And at that point, we realized there was nowhere for us to turn to for help in this area. And that was the point that Keren Or was born from, where we realized that there was a need for an emotional support organization for couples going through infertility that focused purely just on the emotional aspect of a couple who are broken by repeated disappointments and failures. And that's where we had this dream to build a respite location for couples going through infertility so that they have a few days of respite to build up that strength again, so that they can find that strength within themselves to hope to do it again. And we knew that it was so understandable that after somebody goes after through a birth, it's so understandable that they need to go to a beit hachlama or mother and baby home because everybody knows that they've been through something physical and emotional that's taken a toll on them. But here is a couple who have been through a similar or without the end product, and nowhere for them to go. So this was our dream, and we partnered with the most incredible people. I'd like to introduce Yoni, who's on the call, if he can be unmuted, and to share where Yoni and Rena Palmer came into the story.
Okay, thank you, Hannah, Shmuley, and thank you, Rabbi Lieberman, for the platform, and thank you everybody for listening. So my name is Yoni Palmer. I'm married to Rena. We're also originally from London, from Golders Green. Some of you on here, I think, actually either know ourselves or know members of my family as well. So you'll know our story a little bit. But my wife and I waited 10 years we have one daughter. And so we went through this journey. Our daughter's now going around 21. So we went through this 30 years ago when there was nothing. There was no emotional support, no kind of support at all. And we were living in Bet Shemesh at the time when Hannah and Shmuley came to live in Bet Shemesh, and they were connected to us by a member of family. We'd been through this journey and suggested, speak to us, that Hannah should speak to my wife. And the two women became friends, and Shmuley and I became friends. And at one point, Hannah mentioned this idea of having a respite home for couples and helping couples really through the emotional stress and the journey of infertility. And it was just at a point when we had decided to move out of Bet Shemesh and build a house on a moshav next to Bet Shemesh. And the thing is that we're just three people in our family. It's my wife, myself, and my daughter. But we were building a 5-bedroom house on a moshav with a basement, and we decided to say, okay, why don't we use the basement to convert it into a tzimmer, to use the vernacular, for couples that can come for respite and rest and recuperation, that can help them emotionally through the journey that they've been going. So I'll hand over to Hannah Shmuley shortly, but we started. We moved into the house in 2017, and I believe that we started with the first couples in 2018 after furnishing and decorating out the basement. And ever since then, I mean, that's essentially where Keren started and has grown. I call myself like a silent partner.
Sorry, you don't need to interrupt you. Sorry, we can ask you to speak a little louder. We're having trouble hearing you.
Okay, so as I said, I count myself as a kind of my wife and myself as silent partners in a way with Shmuley and Hannah in this Amutah. That's essentially how we started hosting these couples in the basement of our house, which I call it a basement, but it's really a very plush, very well furnished tzimmer that any tzimmer in Israel would be proud to be up to the standards that we have there. So I'm going to hand back to you, Hannah.
It's Yoni. It's your background. That is actually the tzimmer itself.
That is our background. Indeed.
So give you an actual idea of
yes,
right.
Yes. So thank you, Yoni. So as Yoni said, so we started in 2018. Very, very quickly, we opened our doors. Very quickly, we realized the need was way above one place. We realized that the amount of couples that were turning to us was no way that we could manage with just one place. So we made a decision that we're going to try and see how we can service many more couples who are in desperate need of such a service. Just to go back for 1 second, when we were thinking about this idea, we actually, as Hannah said, we turned to the organizations that had helped us, and we asked them for advice on how do couples just manage on the grind? How do they continue from month after month? And they said they get this question asked a lot to them, and they said, please find an answer. So once we were in touch with them, we said we had this idea. They said, the day you open, we will send you hundreds of couples. And we didn't believe it, but unfortunately that was the case. Very, very quickly, couples were turning to us, and we realized that one place, unfortunately, does not suffice. So to then build more Simrim was obviously a huge financial burden. So we came up with the idea of partnering with homeowners who have either a second home in Israel or live abroad and they have the second home but living abroad, whenever it's available, they would allow us to use their space for couples. We started with one in Ashkelon. Today we've partnered with 7 homeowners, incredible people. Each and every single one of them are willing to give. We take full responsibility of the home, making sure obviously there's a cleaner that goes in before and after every couple. But that way we've been able to service, we've been able to double, triple, and way more. We've been able to triple, give the service to many more couples that are desperately in need of this.
Our services have also grown. Mentioned just that our services have grown to include meals for couples on treatment days and afterwards when they're recovering, gift packs for after a failed treatment, breakfast sent in after a failed treatment. We have a large library of lending items, films, books, and things just nothing to do with infertility, just total switch off for couples. It's anything we step into the place where couples need that moment of respite, a place to pause and to breathe before they can go on with their journey, because we know that they want that bottom line and they're relentless in pursuing towards that hopeful goal that hopefully Mr. Shem one day they'll have that baby. But we want to make sure that they've taken care of themselves along that way. What's happening to that couple along that journey is where Keren comes in, and we give them that emotional oxygen to make sure that they'll be able to get through this journey, not just whole in themselves, but together as a couple, as a team, to be able to get through this together. So that is the story of Keren and who we are and where we are at. Our
Thank you so much, Hannah. They could talk to you for hours on this because they're very passionate about it, and quite rightly so. And to hear their stories is a privilege. Anybody after this who wants to hear more about it can contact me. I will also send out that recording to everybody as well. I urge you to consider helping them if you can. It's a wonderful organization run by wonderful people. So thank you very much. And thank you also for sponsoring tonight, even though we never got to eat your sushi. One day, next time, please God.